In today's society, we use our cars more than ever before. Most Americans depend on their cars to get to and from work, school, and other points of interest. Currently, there are over 250 million cars registered in the United States. The problem with this is that at the moment, most of those 250 million cars are powered by either gasoline or diesel fuel. In fact, it is estimated that nearly 98% of the vehicles on U.S. roads are powered by one of the two fuel types, both of which are created from crude oil in a refinery. This mass use of crude oil has become problematic socially, economically, and environmentally. The social problem is that the U.S. is extremely dependent on foreign countries for oil because there is very little oil left in U.S. soil. This dependency creates a great deal of political tension between the U.S. and Middle Eastern countries. The second issue is the one that we notice the most, the price. Oil is a fossil fuel, meaning that the only way that it can be renewed is through millions of years of plant and animal decay. Because of this, oil is becoming more and more expensive as it gets harder to find. This places a real burden on Americans because nearly everything is transported by some sort of gas-powered vehicle. And as the price of gasoline increases, so does the price of shipping and nearly every consumer product. Finally, crude oil is burned, which releases toxins into the atmosphere, which burn holes in the ozone layer, allowing more UV rays to pass through, causing global warming. This is where the engineering comes in. There are currently in existence multiple alternative and renewable fuel sources capable of being engineered to power automotives. There are also many more theoretical options. The two most common complete alternatives are natural gas and electricity. Ethanol, which is a byproduct of crops such as corn and sugarcane, is another option, but is almost always used as an additive to gasoline rather than being used as its own source. Today, natural gas is the most predominant alternative fuel source. Similar to oil, natural gas is a fossil fuel, but natural gas is much more abundant, especially in the U.S. Natural gas also costs $1.50 to $2 less per gallon, which is why nearly 40% of all new garbage trucks and buses are natural gas powered. In order to make the natural gas car work, engineers had to make a few changes to the design of the car. The most significant of these changes was the fuel tank. Engineers designed fuel storage units called integrated storage units, which can be seen on the screen. These units are composed of composites with a fiberglass shell lined with a layer of foam to prevent damage during a collision. The canisters are designed to withstand the pressure of their contents in all conditions. The tanks are also built to hold the maximum natural gas possible while minimizing the diameter so that there can be 3 tanks, best resembling the shape of a normal gas tank. Engineers also had to make small modifications to the engines due to the fact that the natural gas is compressed and its point of ignition is nearly 300 degrees higher than gasoline. Despite all that is good about natural gas, many people still are not satisfied with its emissions and believe electric cars are the way to go. Electric cars are made by removing the engine, tailpipe, and gas tank. These are then replaced by batteries and an electric motor and a control for the motor. The controller extracts energy from the batteries and appropriately converts it to the best suit of the motor. Many people are under the assumption that because the electric car does not produce any emissions, it must be much better for the environment. This is not necessarily true. The car does not have any emissions, but it uses a ton of electricity. And how do we get electricity? By burning coal, another fossil fuel. However, there is one alternative that could solve all of the problems of gasoline. This fuel is known as hydrogen fuel cells. The key component to hydrogen fuel cells is the fuel cell itself. The fuel cell is what extracts the energy from the hydrogen molecules. It is the reverse operation of electrolysis, which produces hydrogen and water from electricity. As you can see in the diagram on the screen, the fuel cell has an anode and a cathode, or a negatively charged side and a positively charged side, along with a polymer electrolyte membrane between the two. The fuel cell works by first injecting H2 molecules into the anode end. The molecules are then broken down into protons and electrons. The protons are then able to pass through the membrane, while the electrons, the electricity, must go around. While traveling around, the electricity from the electrons can be captured and used to power the car. The remaining protons and electrons combine with oxygen in the cathode to produce water. The best part about this is that the only byproducts are hot air and water. As of right now, hydrogen-powered cars are only available for lease, and on top of that, they are only available for lease in California. But both Toyota and Hyundai are planning a 2014 release date for new hydrogen-powered cars available to the public for purchase. The only problem is that there is an extremely limited number of hydrogen refueling stations in the United States at the moment. As for natural gas-powered cars, there is already a large variety of consumer vehicles available, ranging all the way from a Honda Civic to a Ford F-350 and cargo vans. There are also fleets of school buses, garbage trucks, transit buses, and semi-trucks already running on natural gas. Finally, there are currently 10 different companies producing 100% electric cars in the United States. This includes companies such as Ford, Nissan, Toyota, and Tesla. In fact, Tesla, the sports car of electric cars, is one of the fastest growing car companies in the United States. This is partly due to a new innovation by Tesla called the Supercharger. The Supercharger is a charging station only available to Tesla owners that charges 80% of the battery in just 40 minutes. The Supercharger stations use 120 kilowatt chargers, many of which are powered by solar panels on the roof of the canopy, to bypass ordinary charging equipment and deliver direct current power straight to the battery. As you can see on the screen, Tesla currently has these stations strategically placed to allow fast cross-country travel, stopping only at superchargers, with many, many more coming by 2015. On top of all this, the Supercharger is free. The era of gasoline-powered vehicles is nearing its end as engineers perfect alternative fuel sources and gasoline prices continue to soar. It has been projected that by 2040, nearly all gas-powered vehicles will be gone and replaced by new vehicles using cleaner, cheaper, and more efficient alternative fuels.